welcome to another session of Read with me for 15 minutes every day. And this time we are going to be exploring another baby of mine, the unfair advantage, how you already have what it takes to succeed. I'm so excited to go into this. My name is Esther Wani, and you know me from MiressBookStalls. Let's get on to it. So this book is written by Ash Ali and Ahsan Kuba. Deeply true, insightful, and helpful. Critical business advice that you won't get anywhere else. Alright, so this has 3 chapters. First one, part 1 says understand. Part 2, audit. Part 3, the startup quick start guide. So let's head on to part 1 and see what we have there. So yes, we are in part 1. Life is unfair. I'm a young, white, educated male. I got really lucky and life isn't fair. Those are the words of Ivan Spiegel, the billionaire co-founder of photo messaging app Snapchat. In our research into startup success, we found his story particularly interesting. According to Forbes, Spiegel was the world's youngest self-made billionaire. Before Kylie Jenner, that is, more on her later. Born in 1990, he reached $1 billion aged just 24. I got really lucky, and life isn't fair. This part of the quote really stood out to us. Was even implying that his success was simply luck. He's led a privileged life and he knows it. To give you an idea of how lucky he was, let's dive deeper into his background. Ivan Spiegel grew up in a multi-million-dollar household in Los Angeles, surrounded by countless fancy cars and ultra-exclusive county clubs, and taking luxury holidays all over the world at Four Seasons resorts. His early years were spent at an expensive private school in LA, which curiously enough was also attended by Tinder co-founder Sean Rod. Plus a host of Hollywood stars such as Kate Hudson, Jack Black, and Gwyneth Paltrow. His parents also reportedly got him and his sisters elite private tutors at a cost of up to $250 an hour. Ivan's parents were powerful lawyers, his father working on high-profile cases such as the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico and actor Charlie Sheen's infamous $100 million suit against Warner Brothers. His mother held the distinction of being Harvard Law's youngest female graduate. And then we go down. Okay, we're here right now. Okay, this is where we are. When Ivan finished high school, his father's powerful connections and considerable clout as an alumnus and donor to Stanford University certainly didn't hurt his son's prospect of getting into the ultra-competitive and prestigious Silicon Valley Dream School. Ivan's family connection got him introduced to Peter Wendell, a big-time venture capitalist and one of Forbes' 100 top venture investors in the United States, with investments in hundreds of successful startups and numerous IPOs. Not a bad connection to have. Through Wendell, Ivan also met titans like Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, Chad Hurley, co-founder of YouTube, and Scott Cook, founder of financial software giant Intuit. Eric Schmidt later said this about Ivan. He had superb manners, which he says he got from his mother. He credits his father's long legal calls, which he overheard, as giving him perspective on business and structure as a very young man. Scott Cook decided to mentor Ivan, gifting him with a wealth of business wisdom as he took his first steps into the tech startup world. Later, Cook put his money where his mentorship was and contributed to Snapchat's first round of funding. Although he started young, Ivan had already received over a century's worth of combined wisdom and business lessons by the time Snapchat began to grow. While many 20-somethings might have been nervous in big meetings with powerful investors, Ivan Spagel famously stared down one VC who was unwilling to adjust his firm's standards investing terms, telling him, if you want standard terms, invest in a standard company. That VC firm went on to invest in Snapchat's third financing round in 2013. This is what we are looking at when we talk about unfair advantages. These factors all stacked up on top of the other and contributed in powerful ways to Ivan's success with Snapchat, and to him becoming Forbes' youngest self-made billionaire. This connection to wealth, influence, and power directly impacted his success. He was able to climb the ladder at such a young age because he had been largely set up to do so. In fact, he didn't climb the ladder, he went up in a rocket. That's not to say we are attributing all of Snapchat's success to Ivan's privileged upbringing, not at all. Plenty of privileged kids amount to absolutely nothing. As with all success stories, there are many factors that play a role. For example, Ivan was very smart, and Snapchat had a brilliant insight at its core that people want to communicate with photos that would self-destruct, that is, disappear after a few seconds. This is something that none of the established social media giants, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, had even thought of. Ivan not only had access to the funding, the contacts, and the mentors, he executed brilliantly on a very timely product. And this is where we are. He was in the right place at the right time with the right idea. He, his co-founders, and his employees worked really hard and really smart to make it a success. The refreshing thing about Ivan, he's upfront in acknowledging how many breaks he's enjoyed along the way. Contrary to the buckle down, burn the midnight oil, and hustle your ass off advice thrown around all too often in the tech world, Ivan says this: it's not about working harder, it's about working the system. Working the system has unethical connotations like gaming the system, or even cheating the system. We don't mean it in that way. We simply mean it's not about working harder. It's about working smarter to succeed. In a nutshell, that is what this book is about. That's what this book is about. How to work smarter, how to work the system in your favor. And crucially, you don't have to grow up privileged like Ivan Spagel to do it. The fact is that, as Ivan recognized, the world is not fair, and it's more unfair for some than others. He was brought up very rich, extremely well educated, with very successful parents and social connections. But what if you didn't grow up with any of these advantages? Does this mean you are set up to fail? That's a pretty good question. That might be how it feels sometimes. Often you are told that the only answer to a less than ideal situation is to work hard. If that doesn't change anything, work harder. But sometimes when you are being told to work harder when already at full pelt and with all other obstacles and difficulties life may throw your way, this feels like adding insult to injury. And yet, in every corner of the web and within the self-help and business section of every bookshop, you will hear the same story. Hard work is what makes the difference. Hustlers are the ones who make it. When you want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe, that's when you become successful. Whew, we are 10 minutes gone. An entire industry seems to have grown up around this hard work worship. After all, how many business self help gurus and motivational speakers claim effort as virtually the only answer? Well, that's and possibly their cheesy 5 step program to becoming a millionaire. Once you buy the course or book or video series, what do you get? Outdated tactics and generic regurgitated advice and motivation to hustle hard. I mean, don't get us wrong, obviously hard work and sacrifice is a factor. Sacrifice is required for success because you do have to forgo some short-term pleasures for long-term success. That's a given. However, it's simply too reductive to think that if you don't win, it's because you are being outworked. This oversimplification of hard work equals success is not only misleading, it can be downright confusing when you don't know what to work hard on. Remember what Evan Spiegel said, it's not about working harder, it's about working the system. Working hard without working smart is useless. For example, you can work incredibly hard designing and building a product, but if it's a product that nobody wants, then tough luck. You'll get nowhere despite your long hours and blood, sweat, and tears. I've seen a lot of hardworking entrepreneurs fail, and I've come to the conclusion that working hard, while never a bad thing, is not really the magic thing that leads to great inventions or successful outcomes. This is by Katrina Fake, venture capitalist and co-founder of Flip. As a very successful serial entrepreneur and venture capitalist, Katrina Fake should know what she's talking about. Her startup Flick became one of the world's most popular photo sharing websites and an early pioneer in social networking, which was very quickly bought by Yahoo around $20 million. The quote above is from an article she wrote for Business Insider with the title, "Working Hard is Overrated." She then went on to found, grow, and sell another startup, this time to eBay, for a reported $80 million. As Katerina says, promoting hustle as the one and only key reduces all the nuance of success in business to a simplistic one-size-fits-all solution. In the case of Evan Spiegel, for example, we also need to think about the level of society he was born into, the world-class private education he received, the confidence instilled in him by his environment, the social graces he picked up from his accomplished parents, the connections his father gave him, and all the amazing self-made billionaires, mentors he just happened to gain along the way. Okay, we haven't even mentioned the unknown impact of genetics on intelligence, creativity, problem solving, and people skills that Evan inherited from his incredibly successful parents. Also, what role did good fortune play in his success? Is it reasonable to suggest he may have received the benefit of a touch of luck along the way? These all played a role in making Evan not only successful but phenomenally successful. Did we really just say all that? How dare we mention genetics, luck, and parental endowments all in one paragraph in a business book? Well, we told you this isn't your typical business self-help book. Good old Mr. Snapchat is not the only person who has noticed that action alone isn't the answer. Billionaire angel investor, co founder of LinkedIn, and early senior team member of PayPal, Reid Hoffman, was asked the following question when a guest on the NPR podcast: How I Built This by Guy Raz. How much of what you accomplish is because of your hard work and your intelligence? And how much of it is because of the luck and privileges that you've had? Without a breath of hesitation, he answered. The answer is massively both, of course. So, this is 15 minutes already. See, we're almost done with chapter 1. Okay, let's just end it. Massively both. This is from one of the most wealthy, successful people in today's digital world. It seems that the more successful people are, the more willing they are to admit that factors other than simple hard work played into their success. In case you're still thinking that this book is about how great it is to grow up privileged like Evans Bajol, we'll show you how an unfair advantage can take many forms. To illustrate this, we would like to take a couple of examples that are closer to home. Let's take a detailed look at a couple of entrepreneurs who transform their lives. Us. All right. Okay, so this is chapter 2, and yes, we spent an extra minute and 38 seconds. Yay, you did good. Let's hop on tomorrow morning again and let's continue our book. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.